Fambulem, good evening. Of course, this is not the end of the music. We will finally reach the end of the music. I think we get about 4 seconds just to do an audio tape. I hope so when they get the music live. I like with Sweet Salon. I hope so when I feel the vibes in the background. And when we speak, this is where we speak from. As usual, this now on a host and presenter on the channel then and now. I'm Prince Emil Kroma on a very special topic, which some people not feel very special, but of course it is special. It's one of morality, it's one of the presidency, it's one of the first family, the husband and wife of the presidency and the people of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Let us not forget, if we get any audio problem, let we know immediately. And in the meantime, let we just continue with Mr. King Rosling.
I love my country, and I'll never be disloyal. No matter where I go, I'll always honor you. Una where we don't go, let's forget Salo. Una where we come back and make Salo. Salo na let you. Salo na lo babie. Salo di bakiri mo. Salo kadi. Beautiful nation, beautiful country. Oh, I like this a lot. Oh, oh. Beautiful people, beautiful culture. Oh, I like this a lot. Oh, oh.
Right, Fambulem, welcome to another edition of the Then and Now program. You know, I'm host and presenter Prince Emil Kroma. And today, the 1st of March, on a Sunday, we begin the month with a very, very holy day, a very, very special day. And I'm very excited. And I'm sure say Fambulem una as well. You feel the vibes in the music? Oh my God. The girls say the saloon in the bottom. I think it's immediately sweeter. And this is it. When we speak nothing else but something good for the country. So welcome to another edition. As when I can see the title, we want to take, and this is not the final episode on Married Bombshell between the president and Mrs. Her Excellency Fatima Bio. They married sometime last month. So that married day, it don't come and pass. We really first study say, well, that's a foregone conclusion. We need to move on. But we want to deal today with hypotheticals, circumstances, because we not be daily. There are many things we don't know, and we will not decide for foregone. And of course, we will get calls from Fambulem, let it go. But we will not put out this bulletin, so we need to speak on them. And then when Francess, the president and former wife come out and speak on the issue, that also give me cause for let we deliberate on which we are doing now. And Fambulem, this is nothing personal. We need to understand this. This is just an obligation. It's a duty. It's a civic duty. Okay? And information we will provide, we know say it provide empowerment. It empower with the minds of the people. And that's why we do them without favor or fear. And it's absolutely necessary. Because we the so we want to clarify. And the fact that Francess Bio came out and spoke, so we had an obligation also to weigh in on the debate. And let me get into here quickly. You can see the questions asked there are, who that released the woman in audio? In the first place, why was she taped? Why was she taped? Because my understanding from this, and it's clear from the tape, is she was speaking to somebody that she had great respect for. And it was almost like a confessional because it looked like saying within a kind of sorority. And in this case, the Catholic Church. the high priest, they speak to me and have to make a confession. And she was being asked. And while she was being asked, they managed to tape the woman. Okay? And anybody will be frustrated if that kind of thing and they happen to you. There's no joke about it. And you can see that she got exasperated, flabbergasted at some point where you find out see the tape. And then now with the second tape. They record them without your knowledge. And they release the tape. So today we want to ask, why was she recorded in the first place? And remember, Stefan, when we talk about hypotheticals, and the fact that the woman released an audio for saying not to release the tape the day, and we listen to the tape itself, she was having a personal conversation with a man of God, not knowing that she was being recorded. So there would have been, or there is, but since we speak of them in the past tense, so we say there would have been a motive why she was recorded and why those that recorded her release the audio. Why? And this is not the $1 million or £1 million question. So, family, let's go. Let's take it. And remember, say the lines are open if anybody want to participate. I hope not for hold a one-man show. Okay, I need a dialogue, not a monologue. So if you want to call, the number is 07740107250. It's a short broadcast, by the way, 30 minutes. I believe we should be done with this. But here's the take. So we turn around for some reason. They broadcast the woman in tape, they record them, and then they turn around and release the tape. So why make the record them in the first place? Was it or is it to justify why the wedding was a legitimate wedding? Questions around the wedding. And first of all, we did make a tape in which there was an argument back and forth. When we talk about the marriage and the platform we broadcast from, is we try to impress on the minds of the people, the listeners, that the timing is what we were broadcasting about, the timing of the wedding. Because when we weigh public opinion as opposed to the wedding, we find out, say, public opinion not be in favor of the wedding for simple reasons. Economics. If the economics was right, then this wedding, na public, na owner, because this na public people. There's also been arguments about privacy, and we've had these arguments many a times. Family, let me set the record straight that you can only be private when you public, when you try for keep private, which you want for keep private. But if you cannot the public domain and the public gets an obligation that every public official, and the president is no exempt, every public official is subjected to public scrutiny. If you manage for keep your secret, then that's fine. If you manage for keep your privacy private, whilst you na public official, then that's obviously fine. You can see it can take 30 years, 40 years, some public official and keep something, but it manage for come out and it creates a storm. Because you are not private, I keep hearing this, and some people well, the president can marry at any time where he wants. Me can marry at any time where I want. I am not the president. I am not a public official. I am a private individual. I can choose whenever I want to marry. Not the president. The president gets for way public opinion. It's as simple as ABC. If the president and people are not happy, why then for the president for sure happy? That's a sign of insensitivity. That's a sign of out of touch. It can happen in some other parts of the world, but that's a sign of out of touch and insensitivity towards you people. I mean, just want to clarify that point there because a lot of us sort of they think kind of differently. Because if you think otherwise, say, well, the president is exempt, which means that the president is above the law. And honestly, the last time I checked, no one is above the law. That's including the man who holds the highest position in the land, the president. So the issue was one about the timing. And because, again, we find out, say, there are things around this ceremony, this wedding, it became an issue, a very, very contentious issue. We begin for borrow down deep. Because another thing we found we need for understand is people like us on the platforms of social media, we are, some of us, I mean, I can't speak for every one of us, but I do know many of us that are very credible, that what we do is to follow the news. And this is what journalists do. This is what responsible social media outlets do. They follow the news. And this certainly is news. If you think it's not news, I don't know what news is for you. Certainly, this is news. A news, crisscrossing 3 major capitals, if not more. At least we know of that of the United States, we know that of the United Kingdom, and we know that of Freetown. And you say it's not news. This is wonderful. And even the intelligence services in these countries, they know these things. By now, they've documented them. It's in their files. And this is how they used to coerce our leaders, because the CIA, for example, the MI5, MI6, and other intelligence agencies around the world, they've got all of these things, that our leaders do wrong. And I'm not saying that the president did wrong in this instance, but I'm just giving an example. That all of these things, they've got them on file. The CIA, when they want you to do something for them, you cannot say no, because they've got you on fire. They've caught leaders naked. Anyway, let me go to the point. This issue, just as some time ago regarding the speaker, in which the argument again was, he's a private individual, or he's got his private time. I don't know why people say that. When you're paid from the consolidated fund, when you're a public official, your life certainly is no longer yours. It's the public. And you can only keep what you can manage to keep. If you can't keep it, it's not private. If you keep it, it's private. It's not what you wish, not what you say. So some time ago, this happened in terms of the speaker, and the argument was all over the place. Some people were ignorant of it. Some people knew that it was wrong, but was deliberate because they wanted to defend the speaker, either through extremism, either through consensus, either through regional, or just party support, partisan, just being partisan. But I hope that is settled. That when you are in public, if you receive gifts, especially if it's worth over $100, or you receive anything like $100 and above, it's meant to be declared. Why? Because it's public property. It's not private. Don't run for public office. Don't go there and start taking pay from consolidated funds, which the taxpayer are responsible for. Don't do it. So Madam Francess Bio came out with a tape because she was surreptitiously recorded, which was kind of deceitful and hypocritical and a betrayal of the privacy that a woman sought. She was speaking her mind in a private fashion, and remember, this lady is not a public official. And she was speaking in terms of her faith to a man that she held in high regard, a man of the collar, a man of God. Yet she was betrayed because somehow, somewhere, this tape came out. Why did we record them? So was it premeditated? Was it premeditated? And if it were, because the circumstances does seem right, if it were premeditated, so there must have been a motive. So what was this motive? Because if the wedding apparently was a natural thing. XYZ had divorced some time ago and has moved on with her life or his life. What will hold you back? What will stop you when there are documents to that effect? Why does it have to be this way? Like a honey trap, like some kind of a dodgy story that the lady has to be recorded secretly, unknowing to her, and that material published. So she's taking up the challenge. We do believe that Francess should go easy because for the sanctity of the state, I mean, this is, it shouldn't be in the first place. Assuming that it has happened, for the sanctity of the state, she has to let go. She has to let go. Because she's already opened up. She's created the circumstances that has made people like us much more interested, which this broadcast is based on today. I heard people asking, well, why can't she come with the evidence? Which evidence, for goodness sake, are you talking about? Do you understand circumstances? Do you understand motive? Do you understand investigation, interrogation? This woman has provided enough material that should there be an interest in the case by any party who wants to investigate the case, there is a starting point. She has named names. She has named places. She has named times and events and much more to start from. The onus is on the other to defend. So if she's made these allegations at this time, and there was an interested party, assuming the Catholic Church, okay, assuming the Vatican wanted to have a look at this, okay, of course, there's plenty of material for the Vatican to use to look at this particular story. There is, and this is no joke. This is very, very serious. It is very serious, and I mean it. So, I'll repeat. She's named names, she's named places, she's named times, she's named people. What more can this woman call? What more can she name for you to buy her story, for you to understand at least there is some credence that is in her story? There is some kind of credibility. The onus, like I'm saying, is on the other to come now and say, look, this is not true. Assuming there was an investigation, these parties that have been named will be called. The prime suspect, the prime person who is an accused, who is the accuser, who stands accused in this case, will be referred, will be called, will be summoned for them to come and explain their side of the issue. So it's then that probably material evidence will be required. And what did Francess say? I hope I got her right in the second tape, or in the first tape, that she's got enough material. She's got enough. I recall her saying, unfortunately, she was in Monrovia, I believe, at the time. Had she been in the United States, where she's domiciled, she would have provided ample documents to show that what she's talking about is true. If you do not fear this, if you don't feel, you're somehow apprehensive about what this woman is talking, how dangerous this woman could be, how she could turn things upside down, because this is not a small matter. She threatened in the second tape that she will go to the Vatican, that this will reach the Vatican, and some people are calling it bluff. That's how we've come to think. Instead of us keeping an objective and open mind about potential possibilities, we think that this is a joke. A wedding was officiated by a member of high reputable standing within this dominion, the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church It's no child's play. It's a very, very powerful institution. And now an accusation. It's not the first time, like the first tip that we had on the issue, we said that the Catholic Church is never far away from contentious issues. It's always involved somehow in issues that are sort of dodgy. So one thing that we should understand is the Catholic Church is in the process of house cleaning. Hearing something and they can call for an interrogation. They might this because if you've not acted in good faith, proper, in keeping, then of course somebody will have to go. That Francess Bio talk right. Not to Francess make the tape, like where you can see don't make a tape for unbug somebody. Because now there's some people are understanding. I talk to a lot of people, I got a lot of calls. Is she don't make the tape because she feels spiked, she feels spiteful, she feels angry, against the marriage of Fatima to Maada. Well, of course, there will be a little bit of envy. There will be a little bit of jealousy because you wish it were you. You really absolutely will wish that it were you. This is massive. This is big. But what he say, he try to explain all the circumstances, and that circumstances the way they explain, not to incident and make the tape for say because this thing don't happen in effects, so he make a tape and try for release that. No! She was talking to, we now know who she was talking to. We now know. And ask for let them tape him. Even now we are saying they tape him. Yet she was taped, and that tape at some point was released. And the question is, why was it released? Waiting at the motive behind the release of the tape. Who that ordered the release of the tape? Waiting now the motive why this tape was released. Why was it recorded in the first place? Potentially, could it be that this story that we not begin to make them up some time ago to its final conclusion just last month, in which a wedding take place in the country where you not get a feel of the nation because of political differences and economic problems in the country, obviously. And I said it in the first place. Okay. The president's supposed to be a happy man. So is the first lady. She deserves to be a happy woman. But the balance has to be right. And this is where some other people, as I heard them speak, just get them wrong. President can marry anytime we want. No. No, no, no. There are conditions, my friend. There are conditions. And they also try to tell me about privacy, and I don't describe that already. The privacy ends when it's no longer private. The privacy only exists when you're able to contain the privacy and make them private. That will not know better. If it were so, we'll see 30 years later, public official, and when the secret leak issues are taken up. Some of them will have to go to court. Some of them are disgraced. Autobiographies will have to be reversed. Fortunes are lost because you manipulate, you massage, you sex up stories during your time in public service with the hope, because that's what you're doing. You're hiding it from the public and you are subjected to public scrutiny. So don't tell anybody, that this is private when it's very much in the public view, in the public interest, and you're a public official. These things don't wash anymore, to be honest. It has to be better than this, better done than this. I hope this will be reconciled, like I say, for the greater benefit of the nation. I mean, the top man of the country not supposed to be involved in this, but that was then. There are circumstances there, some of us do find ourselves in them, not knowing what the future holds. But then, this is what happened. And this is not supposed to happen. Such stories are not supposed to be around the presidency of a sovereign state. No way. This could be a nice story for a private individual, like the Nollywood story. Then you then are host with your friend and your boyfriend or girlfriend, and things never go well, and then una make una arrangement, and then your girlfriend, move on. They go to Baba, Baba we can shake the totobe and roll them and make some prophecy and say na so for do. And then meantime, that relationship, the pastor be there, the pastor not like the idea waiting to go on because one of the partners has gone to looking gone. And then when they're looking gone, because you buy into RAM, that's what you bring come into the house. A typical Nigerian Nollywood sort of script, unfortunately. So Fatima does, Francess does feel spite. And like I say, we want to make this broadcast, really short and sweet, and then try to end them at this point. The questions are all yours. I just, like I say, hypothetical. Francess don't release an audio. Then after the first audio, she was making a confessional, if you like, quote unquote, a confessional to a high priest within the Catholic Church, to which she's a member, explaining the circumstances of a long-time relationship that she had with the current president. What led to X, Y, Z. We now have an idea because she's giving us a bird's-eye view into the inside of this relationship, what transpired. So we can deliberate on this now based on that circumstances today. That's why we are able to talk on this part 2, part 3 of this issue, which is the final episode on this married bombshell. So they record them and then pull that recording the Nado. So the question from Bulem is, why was she recorded in the first place? Why was Francess recorded in the first place? Who that recorded? Was she consulted before being recorded? Was she aware that she was being recorded? But we now know, say, she was not aware because he don't come out back and say that. So the recording was premeditated, we can say that, because the woman has said that when she was called, she was being recorded without her knowledge. So this was pre-planned. If it were pre-planned, why was it pre-planned? Now that the audio was released by someone else, we refuse for call name because we don't know how that recording, because she was speaking to the other end of the line, to which it could have been a conference call, assuming that she was speaking to one person. So instead, it could have been multiple people. So one of them will have had that recording, because if we say it's only the person that she was speaking to, then we obviously know who the culprit is without even calling the name. But we still want to keep them open. Who that recorded, why was she recorded, and why that recording was released. So then just to open more canker around this thing, because that definitely shows that there was something wrong. I don't know whether that's fixed now. But family, like I say, this is my last broadcast episode on this married bombshell. We owe a responsibility to the state, which comprises by default the people. When we speak in behalf of the people. Sometimes people want to make us, or me, the story. Because when you say what they don't like, they class you to be the other. But I'm equipped enough to always defend myself. I'm not the other. All we are looking for is justice. And the halls of justice in the background offer the people justice. These are the kind of questions that people like us are kind of concerned about. That the presidency is not supposed to be involved in such. But this is the case. That the twisting of the story doesn't just wash, because I know there's a lot of people who believe in marriage. I wish the president and his first lady well. But if there are circumstances around it, which we now know, then of course it's a duty-bound obligation to talk about it. And this is what we do, provide the information which empowers the minds of our people. Our people can no longer afford to be living ignorantly. For those who always try to misconstrue deliberately, ignorantly, the terminology of privacy, I've broken it down enough, and it can't be more than that, trust me. So Fambulen, this now we broadcast today. Like I say, this is the end for me for this married affair. We get boku other things for talk about. The color red and green. Do they discriminate against you when it happened? The youth, the mismanagement of the youth, over 60% still unemployed, and we hear about employment and the rest of it. The 2019-2020 budget, which was nicknamed bread and butter budget. How much of it is now working? Because we're talking about efforts that are being made. Is it trickling down, or do we still have to wait? The president's recent retreat with meeting the head of institutions. While it was a necessity, we still ask, was it necessary? Could we not have sent memorandum of understandings? Could we not have used, your other emails instead of taking them off job, off time, and again spending precious money? Was it a showcase? Was it just for the spectacle, especially after the wedding? And to those who always think that criticism is a bad thing, I think the president always did prove we right. Every time when we broadcast, we do critical analysis. The president comes out and own up. And such was the last thing he did during that meeting of all heads of institutions, in which the president take responsibility as a president should do. And he's done that a couple of times lately, okay? When he say, no more excuses, because this is all they've been providing the Sierra Leonean people. And others who are trying not to be patriotic, who are trying to be partisan, haven't got the courage, here to talk. I think I've got a caller. Hello, caller. I guess you're trying to make a contribution to the program. Are you, sir? Hello, caller.
Well, give me smaller pump.
Remember that you're live, Okay. Well, I am happy that a friend, called me. He's my sparring partner outside of the studio, and I'm happy that he's watching the program. Thank you very much for calling. I know you want to talk to me off camera, and I'm closing the program now, by the way, so we can talk. So Fambulem, this night I've been here for say today, and we don't hear it. So there are many other things that are coming up. So when the president said no more excuses, we know exactly that the excuses have been too many. And he says, fed up with her now, with her. So he wants results, not excuses. The excuses doesn't really help the cause for the Sierra Leonean people. It doesn't really help the cause for the SLPP-led government. He wants results, tangible results, results that the people can feel, touch. That's what the president wants. Today, the 1st of March on a Sunday, I've been your host and presenter on the final episode of Married Bombshell. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. As usual, tomorrow is Monday. I have to let you go because we need to start preparing for our hustle and bustle week. Thank you so much for listening. I'll leave you again with the song of absolutely. Holy Scratch. Thank you very much for listening. thank you very much for listening to the Then and Now. I've been your host and presenter on the 1st of March, 2020. Please keep tuned. We'll continue for tuning and we'll have discussions. There are many programs that are upcoming. We'll forget a couple of interviews. Remember, we take a break. We just formalize the studio now and the test equipment and softwares. And we are getting there bit by bit, and we're quite